daytime? You on daytime? You on nighttime? Okay. Okay. It's nice and got me. Okay. Thank you. All set, Brandy. Good evening. It's time for our Board of Commissioners meeting for February the 12th, 7 o'clock here at the Wanaco Commissioners Chamber. I don't think YouTube is up and running, right? It's not. That's understandable. Some technical difficulties for tonight. Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Okay. Let's stand to the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, actually, I stepped ahead of myself. It's time for the prayer. Thank you. We have Pastor David Peeler from Stokesbury Methodist Church. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Madam Mayor. I'm David Peeler. I'm the pastor at Stokesburg United Methodist and Shiloh and Bethlehem United Methodist churches. So they've assigned me three. This feels a lot like a pulpit, but I promise I will not preach this evening. Let us pray. Loving God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we ask you to bless us tonight with your presence, your guidance, and your wisdom. Remind us, Lord, that to be blessed is to be empowered to serve you and not ourselves. Let every word that is said tonight and every decision that is made work to unify and care for our community. Christ taught us that those who would lead must first be servants to all, especially the most vulnerable and the most in need. Fix our hearts and minds on your will as we seek to serve you in all that we do this evening. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now Announcements. Monaco Board of Commissioners regular meeting, March the 12th at 7 o'clock in the chamber, Town Hall Chamber. Monaco Volunteer Fire Department meeting Thursday, March 5th at 7 o'clock. Monaco Planning and Zoning Board meeting is gonna be Thursday, that's March the 5th, 6:30 at the chamber here. Town Recycling, February the 13th and February the 27th. 137-year anniversary of Town Charter, that's gonna be on February the 25th, 1889. That's a long time, and the first town hall being built in last year, so enough to celebrate, and very grateful to God for that. And also as we celebrate America 250 years. Okay, at this time, we have our representative for the North Carolina State Representative, Mr. Kyle Hall, to come forth. Mr. Kyle has done great works for this town and throughout Stokes County. And I'm so glad that you did come, and thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor. As I always say, you're my best campaigner. It's good to be with y'all tonight. It's always a pleasure to come to Walnut Cove. I'll just give y'all a brief legislative update. We are not in session at the moment. We adjourned the long session back, I believe it was in July. So we've been in the interim since then. Just because we're in the interim doesn't mean that we're not working actively. In fact, I just came from Raleigh from this week to come here and spend the weekend here, and then I'll go back to Raleigh on Tuesday because we have various committee meetings that meet throughout the year. So the business of the people is not over yet. But we will go back into short session at the end of April. I know the biggest question that we hear in our inboxes is when are we going to pass a budget? And so I serve as the senior appropriations chairman, which is my job to help craft the state budget. And I'll just give y'all some inside baseball as to why we're in this predicament that we're in. Technically, we're not like the federal government, where the federal government, if you don't pass the budget, they shut down. And we saw that happen very recently. The state does not do that. In fact, my very first year in office, I believe it was, we passed a bill that in the event that the House, Senate, and governor cannot agree on a budget, that whatever the recurring appropriations are continue based on the previous year. And so that's why teachers are still getting paid. That's why state highway patrol, the state employees, that's why roads are still being built. Even though we just had this ice storm, I know it was very difficult with the DOT to get them out there. They were still out there working, plowing the roads. So we're not exactly shut down like the federal government would be. But with that said, any non-recurring funds, like funds to build, let's say a town hall, for instance, I don't know how that might have happened, or building a particular bridge, or if the state employee raises, teacher raises, that does not happen if we do not pass a budget. And so the predicament that we're in right now is we set the statute a couple years ago, various tax cuts. If North Carolina is doing exceptionally well when it comes to recruiting people and businesses to the state, that's a good thing. It means we're getting more people here, we're getting more revenue, and we want to give that money back to the taxpayers. So we have in state statute, when revenue numbers hit certain numbers, it triggers an immediate tax cut. In fact, one of them just hit January 1. Your personal income tax rate, when about 10 years ago, your personal income tax rate was around 8%. As of January 1, your tax rate's 3.99%. And that's because of the tax cuts that we have in place. If we hit the next trigger, which we are bound to do, that brings our tax rate down, which is great. But because of the increased population and various other things, the revenue projection does not look very good as far as continuing state operations. At the House level, what we're battling with the Senate is that we're looking at the nonpartisan fiscal research graphs, and it shows us at a $3 billion shortfall in a couple years if we continue down this road. We do not tie our tax cuts with inflation. That's what the House wants to do, tie it with inflation to slow it down, to get the pace right, so that we don't have to make $3 billion in cuts. I personally do not know how North Carolina makes $3 billion in cuts. That means that we're laying off state employees. That means we're laying off teachers. That means we're closing down community colleges and universities. I don't know how we do it other than that. And we don't want to do that at the House level. The Senate, I don't want to speak on behalf of the state senate, but I just don't believe that they completely trust the numbers. And our fiscal research staff, yes, is wrong sometimes, but they're never wrong by $3 billion. That's a pretty significant number. And so we're wanting to be a little bit cautious. And if we continue down the path of our triggers right now, we're not able to afford to pay our teachers and our state employees anything over a 1.5% pay raise. And I think personally that is a slap in the face to just give our teachers and state employees just 1.5%, considering the inflation the way that it is. And so, yes, we're in a budget stalemate. It doesn't look great, but I believe that the House is doing the prudent thing by keeping us in this pattern right now so that we can continue to fight to get our state employees and teachers the pay raise that they deserve. The House budget that we passed had teachers, we're lagging behind right now, Virginia and South Carolina, and starting teacher pay. They just boosted their starting teacher pay to around $50,000. Now, obviously, with us being a border county, it makes a lot of sense if you live in Lawsonville and all you have to do is go into Patrick County and you get an $8,000 pay raise. That's a no-brainer. I would do that if I was a teacher. And so we're trying to encourage our Senate counterparts to have that same mindset. So in the House, our House budget, we got starting teacher pay to $50,000. We would be the highest in the Southeast for starting teacher pay. I think that's huge because we're having a hard time getting new people into the teaching profession. So we're fighting for that. We're fighting to give overall teachers an 8% pay raise. That actually matches and goes above inflation numbers. I think that's huge. Trying to get our state employees a pay raise. So that's what we're fighting for. And another ongoing issue is the Senate wants to spend $1 billion of taxpayer money on a children's hospital that's in partnership with UNC Health and Duke Health. Now, anything that Duke's associated with can't be that good. UNC is fine. But Duke Health, you got to question it a little bit. But $1 billion of taxpayer money going to build a freestanding children's hospital that'd be located in Apex, which is in Wake County. Now, I cannot sit here and tell you that, as far as that's concerned, a children's hospital, that's fine. We've got great children's hospitals in North Carolina. If we want another one, that's fine. But spending $1 billion of taxpayer money on a hospital in Wake County that can sustain itself in Wake County, because obviously they have the tax base that places like Stokes County don't have. I just toured, back in the fall, I toured Martin County's hospital, which is closed. Completely closed down. There's no ER, there's no urgent care, there's nothing. There's an empty hospital building. That's very scary to look at. It's very creepy, honestly. And their closest care in Martin County is an hour away in Greenville, North Carolina. They have to go to ECU Health in Greenville. And their EMS force is a complete volunteer EMS force. I cannot sit back and look at taxpayer money going $1 billion to a Wake County hospital when you have hospitals in Martin County. You've got the hospital in Danbury that needs some repairs. I cannot sit here and think that our North Carolina taxpayer dollars will go to a Wake County hospital when rural North Carolina hospitals need the money just as much. So that's why we're in the stalemate that we're in. I know it's not an easy thing. I know that most people want us to move on and just, and cave and get a budget passed, but I think that the House is doing the right thing by standing firm. And I'll give our speaker, Destin Hall, no relation to me because I'm tall and good looking and he's short. But no, I give him a lot of credit that he is standing firm against the Senate and saying that this is what our House priorities are. And I think that they're North Carolina priorities for that matter. So we're going to continue this battle up until the short session. Like I said, it won't start till the end of April. And so hopefully we will get to some sort of a budget agreement and we'll be able to help places all across North Carolina. And with that, that's my update to y'all, and I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have. As far as citizens are concerned, I don't have a primary election, so I don't have a dog in this fight, but early voting did start today. And so I encourage all of y'all to research your candidates and go out and exercise your right to vote, because this primary is very important here in Stokes County.
Thank you. I'm fine. Yes, very
Nobody has
good,
any
very
questions?
good.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to go get some tacos at El Cabo.
Okay, enjoy yourself. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. Okay, so next we have public comments. Wait, okay, nobody's on public comments, okay. So, right here is, our Chief Boo is here tonight for the quarter report. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Appreciate you.
Pull Mike down since he's 7'4". Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners, Manager. This is our quarterly report for October through December 2025. We had 79 calls for October, 45 in the county, 21 in the town, 4 out-of-county assist calls, and 9 in-county assist calls. We had 1 working structure fire. We completed a standby for the Sheriff's Office and Winston-Salem PD bomb squad. That was for an incident up on Mill Road behind the furniture place. Assisted with a search. 1 motor vehicle crash with entrapment and 3 CPR calls. Our training for the month of October, we completed part of the Officer State Fire Marshal Driver Operator series. This was basically 4 modules that we had personnel to complete. Our medical training was on pediatrics and obstetrics. And then we also completed a smoke detector canvas with the American Red Cross. Our target was both of the mobile home parks on Highway 89. We did a canvas the first week of going out and putting the door hangers on all the doors. The following week we went out and tried to install smoke detectors in all these homes, and we kind of targeted those areas because that's where we've had our recent residential fires at. And so we were able to went to 7 homes, installed 21 alarms, and served 23 people. A lot of the residents were either not home or they did not want the smoke alarms. And so we're going to do this again in June. This time we're going to partner with Officer State Fire Marshal. They do a smoke detector Saturday, the first Saturday in June, and then we're also going to do another canvas to where we hit the other neighborhoods that are in our district. Help the town as well as the code group and the library with the Halloween event. We also attended the lunch meeting for the new finance director. Attended the Piedmont Firemen's Association meeting, which is part of the State Fire Association. It's broken up into 4 regions across the state. In November, we had 69 calls, 31 in the county, 27 in the town. 3 out-of-county assist calls, 8 in-county assist calls. We had 2 structure fires, 1 being the garage fire. We had a structure fire that we assisted Pine Hall on, 2 CPRs, 1 burn. We had 1 stabbing, and then 3 woods fires. Continuing with our driver operator training, along with our medical training. We consulted with our Department of Insurance inspector. And just to jump ahead a little bit, we met with him back on January 14th, and our insurance rating inspection is coming up in January, or is scheduled for January of 2027. But due to the water line construction that the county's doing, they have agreed to push that inspection back until that water line project is going to be completed. Because they are adding the additional fire hydrants in up on Highway 89 in the water tank. That's going to benefit our rating inspection. So that'll be sometime in April of 2027. Attended the Veterans Day Parade at London Elementary. Attended the North Carolina Fire Marshals Association meeting, assisted with the Just Plain Country Festival. And then along with several area departments, Duke Energy is providing a grant for large fans free of charge, and the department is just responsible for the electrical work. And we're getting 2 fans placed in our apparatus bay that will help circulate air and keep the bay cool, as well as help circulate the heat in the wintertime. And so we're still waiting on those fans to come in, but those were free of charge from Duke Energy. December, 72 calls, 35 in the county, 24 in the town, 3 out-of-county assist calls, 10 in-county assist calls, 2 structure fires, 1 CPR, 1 trauma, and and then we had 4 gas leaks. A little bit about the trauma. This happened about 2 o'clock in the morning, where a gentleman was shot with a crossbow and survived, but it was just an unusual type of call for us. Assisted with fire prevention training for the daycare at First Baptist Church. We are in the process, or in December, reviewing the purchase of new air packs. Those are the breathing devices that we use to enter burning buildings and so forth. We got 6 of those on a federal grant. They have been ordered. We conducted a live burn training up here on Brook Street, across from New London Baptist, or New London Primitive Baptist Church. And then we completed our annual medical evaluations. And then included some pictures like I normally do. If most everyone remembers the day as soon as the parade ended, and obviously Main Street was packed, we got dispatched to a residential building fire on Rosebud Road. And so, excuse me, the first 2 pictures, these were sent to me after the incident on Rosebud Road. The first picture is actually from a flyover. Our state EMS medical director, who's one of my friends, was flying over Walnut Cove and sent me this screenshot from the airplane. And then the second picture was actually looking down Main Street, and you can see the pillow of smoke from Main Street. The third picture was sent to me from another fireman who was actually hiking up at Sartown Mountain Road. And you can see the distance, the smoke in the distance there from that picture. And then the fourth picture is the first arriving pictures as we arrived on this scene. And it just goes through and just gives you a screenshot of some of the types of houses and things that we encounter when there's a structure fire or a commercial building fire. This is what we call a rural water area. And so one of the pictures that you see is actually several tankers lined up with what we call a drop tank, supplying water, so we can actually try to suppress this fire. The trucks actually had to come back to town to fill up with water to actually help suppress the fire. And then you can go through and you can see some of the other pictures. The last few pictures are our fire training pictures that was conducted up here on Broad Street. Even though that we had a very, very long day with the structure fire on Rosebud Road, this training was conducted the following Monday night. It was cold, and we had 40 participants from about 6 or 7 departments participating in this fire training. And it was very well attended and coordinated fire training, and beneficial for the departments that attended. And then the last few pictures are some pictures. I included this just for some general education about overloading surge protectors. The last 2 pictures is an outlet that a surge protector was plugged into and overheated and was billowing smoke out, and the resident thought that their house was on fire. And so I just wanted to include that picture of what can happen when you overload a surge protector. The last thing I'll mention, back in December, we typically have our annual dinner and awards, and that took place on the same day that we had the fire on Rosebud Road. And so I was able to go by for about 30 minutes before I had to go back to the fire scene. And I'm proud to say that my son Noah received Fireman of the Year and Rescue Person of the Year. And on that same night, he works full time at Walkertown. The fire chief called me earlier that day and asked me what I was doing, and I told him we had our this was before the fire, and asked me what we were doing, and I told him that we had our Christmas dinner as well. And he's like, "Well, I'm happy to tell you that it's not out yet, that he also received Fireman of the Year at Walkertown Fire Department." So very proud of him, and very proud of all our members at the fire department. And so entertain any questions anyone has about the quarterly report for October through December.
So as we start to head in towards budget discussions, SAFER grant from last year, I know it wasn't received. Is that something you're still looking at for this year, or?
We will still apply for that if the federal government opens back up. That's the $1 million question, is that if they're actually gonna open the SAFER or the AFG grant back up. So, but we will apply for it.
And then as far as in town, I know you've got a lot going on, and the matrix report we used to get, which was the response times and out of door times. Specifically, if at some point we can just get an idea of how many people were able to put on the fire ground specifically in the town of Walnut Cove, so that we can look at those budget numbers to try and make sure we're giving you the funds that you need to make sure we're getting the resources to you.
Most of the fires that we've had have been all outside of town.
But still,
And just
yeah.
over in general, and we're averaging probably, depending upon time of day, anywhere from 7 to 10 personnel. And the biggest benefit with that is it's actually having people at the fire department to where we can get the trucks out of the building. And that's one of the things that we have been focusing on since our meeting with our DOI inspector, is ensuring that we're getting the trucks out the door, and then making sure that we have the people to get the trucks out the door. Because any working fire that has structural damage, we have to have 1 truck and 4 people. And sometimes during the day that's difficult, but we make it work. And that's what we're focusing on for this next year. The last thing I'll say is giving a shout out to the Public Works Department. Obviously, we thankful most of all the snow is gone because of our weather the last few days, but they did quite well with communicating through both snow events. And so talked to Mark Daly, coming up with the plans on how we were going to address the streets around town, making sure that the fire department parking lot was scraped and so forth. And so they did work diligently during these 2 storms. And so I want to give them a shout out here before the board, and let we know that we typically, obviously, we did our jobs. And so we communicated well with those, and we kept the manager informed, as well as Austin and everybody else too, of what was going on. So that's all I have, unless you have something else.
Thank you
All
for
right.
everything you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, we're going into our adjustments and adoption of the agenda. Before we go further, there's something I like to address, because the public has been coming up to me, and also for the Board of Commissioners. You just need to verify, because with the North Carolina General Statute 16859, it says that all commissioners, mayor, must live in the town of Walnut Cove. I'm gonna ask Commissioner Jarvis if he can verify that he's living here in Walnut Cove, although you have a residence here, that you are permanent, or you live in here, for the citizens that comes up to me and the business owners. It's a personal issue that's been going on, which is a personal. I shouldn't have to address it. I just want the citizens to know that I have addressed this, the business owners who have been coming to me to say, are you
And Mayor,
permanently?
that's a fair question.
Okay,
And I
okay,
appreciate it. It's not an
okay.
issue. I will, however, direct this to our town attorney to provide a reasonable explanation of what's required. I do have another rented property. I do travel a lot. I actually got snowed in down at the coast. But I will, having had discussions with the State Board of Elections, local Board of Elections, the town attorney, and a personal attorney, I will let you provide just a basic clarification of what's required.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. The basic requirement, as the statute has been interpreted by case law, is that residing in the district or in the town limits means that the elected official maintains their domicile there. And domicile is defined as owning a property with the intent to return there as a primary residence. So it's impossible to have 2 domiciles. You can't live in 2 places, but it is possible to have a residence in the town that you're not currently occupying, so long as you haven't reestablished another domicile, meaning you have an intent to return to the house here in the town limits. And the court looks at things such as, where is the individual registered to vote? Where does the individual list for the purposes of paying taxes, where their car is registered. Those are indications of a person's permanent residence. And so long as the permanent residence is in the town limits, that elected official is still qualified to hold the seat. There is an investigatory procedure. Any individual who has questions about residency can file an application or petition, not with this board, but with the County Board of Elections. And then the County Board of Elections is duly required to investigate and make findings as to whether or not an elected official is or is not qualified for the office. But as far as this body goes, there's no authority to investigate or challenge the residency of an elected official. The elected official tonight, if Commissioner Jarvis verifies his domicile is here, then that's
Okay.
the end of the inquiry, subject to Board of Elections or other outside authority taking action.
Okay,
And I'll just for peace of mind, I do have another rented property. It is not my domicile, but it is the fallback place that I would move to, depending on what takes place with mediation and so forth. And beyond that, and I really do appreciate, because it is a fair question that people have a right to ask.
Mhm.
And it's a shame, I hate that it's come to you, and I appreciate you bringing it up.
yeah, and I thank you for that, and attorney for clarifying that. Just want to make sure that we are following the North Carolina State General Statute, and that's been asked to me a number of times since August the 2nd of 2025. Okay, so next we have adjustment and adoption of the agenda. Okay. Oh, are you gonna do that? It's number 8, number 9. You want to go there first? Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so it is number 8. Number 8, adjustment and adoption of the agenda. That's no problem. Okay. We would need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we accept
Okay.
the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded with the adjustment of the adoption of the agenda. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, now Mr. Ron, public hearing for closing of Depot Street. Okay,
I'm going to say refer to attachment G. It's not in behind verbiage, but look to attachment G in cat. And I'm going to turn this over to the city attorney to explain legally what the procedures are, make sure we're following
Okay.
everything correct. And then we
Okay.
can talk about it. And after he explains it, then you can open the public hearing. If anybody wants to speak, they can. After that, you close the public hearing and you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
okay, thank you,
Thank you, Mayor.
thank you.
So, does everybody have the text?
Yes,
It's a resolution of intent to close Depot Street, and the application to close that portion of Depot Street, this is on the Howard Bill map. And that portion off of Old Main Street from the beginning of Old Depot Road to the end of Depot. And the petition is to close that portion, and then for the tenant, the attorney, and public and private, because we use that to the public. Now, this was sent to town staff with the direction that the town clerk publish this resolution of intent, newspaper, and mail a copy to the private property owner, so that they're aware of the action that was supported with by the public hearing. Then, in addition, the resolution of intent is to probably posted it in these 2 places along the road to close. And all those further events that were done, is this board will conduct public hearing tonight, and we should close the road, and here's the public hearing, the board to close. What I don't know is, at the person, because the preliminary thing, whether it's in all.
it's time to open up the public hearing for closing of Depot Street. Question, you ready to vote? In favor? We'll just open and close. Oh, it's open, okay, so, okay. Okay.
So, Madam Mayor and
Okay.
the attorney, as a point of order, do we need a motion, a second, a vote to open this public hearing as we normally do?
I did open it.
Okay, I just want to make sure,
Right,
because I know in the past we had, I just want to make sure we do the proper things in case something comes
Right.
up.
It's been open? Question, are you ready to vote to be open or? Okay. We're gonna close the public hearing, okay? Okay.
We had been talking about this for quite a while. We had, this road serves only one resident. And I'm involved. It is, there is a bridge located on it, and apparently in the past we've had some better maintenance on the space. It's the only bridge that we have to maintain in the city, and the state is waiting for us to do this so they can take us off of it. And so if the board decides to go ahead with this, then what happens in the end, pretty sure if I remember, is once we close it, that property goes back to the property, so they own. So they own the property to the middle of the road, or however they divide it back, so they retain ownership. And again, the ownership of it subject to public utility rights of way, water, sewer, and other. Kim, are you familiar with any water utilities on that road, that section? I don't think. I don't think there's any. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there is, but anyway, his resolution holds us on it. So their idea is it could be. I make a motion that we accept the resolution to close Depot Street.
And I'll second that.
It's been moved in second for the resolution to close Depot Street. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Consent to the agenda. We've got, approval amendments, that's attachment B. So that's going back for less, January. So, yeah. I think I was looking at, is Commissioner Johnston's name on that?
Yeah,
Okay, you got it?
yeah.
Okay,
Talk to Brandon.
okay, I'm sorry. I just noticed that. Okay, okay, thank you. Her name was not, okay, but it is now, so, thank you.
And so we have there are
This,
4 items on
yeah.
there for the board.
this is the finance, report, and that's item B, the financial report, which is attachment C. And Alliance Code Enforcement, which is attachment D, is that C. And D, on-call, SOQ, Dewberry Water Sewer Projects. That's all under the consent of the agenda. So if you choose to do so, Board of Commissioners.
The only question I had on the minutes was, you know, we had recessed until Thursday for that meeting, and then that's what stated on the minutes, but then that did not occur. So I didn't know if that needed to be changed, or I didn't know.
It
Yeah,
was
we did.
never took place. And that was one of my questions. I was just gonna make a point of order towards the end of the meeting, because as Robert's rules, it wouldn't affect this meeting. But tonight, it would be just clean for us to
Closing it.
adjourn that meeting. Not, to
We can
that
adjourn,
meeting.
to adjourn that to this.
We can add that to the-
Right, to adjourn the meeting of, in January. So you're absolutely right, Commissioner, so.
All right. So with that, I will make a motion that we add the adjournment of the meeting from January 2026 and approve the remainder of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second
Second,
that.
oh,
Okay, it's been moved in second to adjourn the meeting of January, of 2026, and also to the consent of the agenda approve on those. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, so that's closed as well as approve of item A, B, C, and D. Approve other minutes. Okay, thank you. And also finance report budget versus actual in the code enforcement, which aligns code and also on-call SOQ. Now we're moving into new business. It's on attachment 8 is up. Yep, yeah.
So we have all that done now, so it's now up to the board to make a motion to accept the swap of property. It is a like equal amount swap. We gain what we need, which is the lower part for future expansion of sewer plant. We give up something that we would never use, which is the upper part of each property sewer plant. And the tax office has deemed that it is a neutral swap based on their analysis. So Mayor, we would, if the board wishes to move forward, we would need a motion to approve this and authorize the county attorney to do the appropriate work.
I make a motion to finalize the property with Johnny Parsons and proceed for the attorney to proceed on the property.
I'll second that.
It's been moved in second. Item A, wastewater treatment property swap with the owner of Johnny Parson. And question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Okay,
Mayor, and item B, we've already taken care of.
so let's skip, okay. Okay,
The next item is fireworks contract. This is the contract with Fourth of July fireworks show. Contract represents what the board discussed at the last board meeting. And I guess we just need a motion to authorize the staff to sign the contract for the fireworks. I just have one quick question I believe Chief Boo might be able to answer, because it's been a long time since I've seen, yes, Chief Boo, for you. Since I've seen a contract for our fireworks, because they've kind of been perpetual, just built into the budget. Anytime the word indemnification gets used, having been somebody responsible for contracts of state government where you can't do that, I get, kind of piques me. The only question is, how have we ensured that there was security around the safety zone where the fireworks operators is doing their work to ensure that nobody entered that area? Have we ever had anybody down there, a fire watch or anything in the past? Okay. Yeah, and Commissioner Jarvis, the state, I'm going back, way back in my time, 40 years. It used to be anybody could do a fireworks show. I can remember the day back in Canada, the fire department did this fireworks show. But now, no, now you have to be licensed. You cannot, volunteer group can't do it. You have to be licensed. Part of that license you have to try. I'm ready to make a motion. I just would ask that staff at some point gets with this operator and make sure that they're comfortable with whoever's down there, to make sure that nobody walks up and decides to stick their head in a mortar tube. Okay. Nobody else has anything with the contract? I'll just make a motion that we accept the contract that's presented by staff.
I'll second that.
It's been moved in second for item C, fireworks contract for 2026 for the 4th of July. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. Item D, text amendment. That's,
Mayor, the next item, I'd like to ask if Ken would come forward as part of planning board and explain what it is we're trying to do here, the things that they've been working on. I think the board asked you all to do something.
That's correct. Mr. Nyland, thank you. Yes, about, I believe it was in August of last year, the board instructed the planning board to take a look at some alternatives that this board might consider in regulating or seeing the number of tobacco and vape shops it is in town. We prepared a moratorium, which I believe this board did adopt. I believe it was in September. That is set to expire this month. Christine is with us, and so the board worked on for the past 2 or 3 months, have looked at different options that they could do. The proposal, I think it is your attachment I believe, is that correct?
that's correct.
Yeah, and that of what we developed was a text amendment. I've not had a chance to talk to Mr. Campbell, if he's had a chance to look at it, but more or less what a text amendment is, or what they're recommending is, first off, we have to define what a tobacco and vape shop is. A lot of this information we gathered just by seeing what other municipalities have done, looking and seeing how they do things. And so we developed our definition. Secondly, we recommend changing your permitted use table. And there are examples in your attachment I, if you'll see draft across there, the back pages are actually what this would look like if we actually put it, if you did adopt this, to what it would look like in your book. But secondly, we would change the permitted use table. We debated, or the board debated, in where it might be the appropriate zones for this. And I did bring up our zoning map. If you'll look at your little green spots, that's NB2. The reason we chose NB2 zones, because these are the complicated thing of these are legal stores, but like any other regulated thing, you want to put them in the appropriate areas. So rather than being in your B1 districts and some of those, the planning board suggested the green spots, the NB2s. That's probably predominantly your Food Line Shopping Center and your Ingalls Shopping Center area, if you notice on your map. Those are right now where 2 of them are at currently. It would further change in your, if you adopted the planning board's recommendations, the permitted use table would be changed to where they would only be allowed in NB2, and they would also have to obtain a special use permit to open a new store. And it is further added that notes, the way that the new land use policy, there are certain notes for different types of permitted uses. And so note number 20 would then reference back to what we require to be met also to be granted a special use permit, which those are, we looked at those in looking at the proximity to where your NB2 zones are at. And we looked at, we suggested that it should not be located within 250 feet from residential zoning, the 1,000 feet from property line to property line for schools, public or private, churches, daycares, youth facilities, community centers, recreational facilities, parks, and hospitals. Also did put a caveat in the new land use. If one closes, the process of how long or to where another one can replace it, where you can't just put 2 side by side. But if an established is being proposed within 1,000 feet of a location where a previous establishment has closed, a permit cannot be issued for the new location until after the previous establishment has been discontinued or abandoned. So I think we'll run into that with the internet sweepstakes places. One would want to close, another would want to take its place real quick. And so we tried to think of any potholes along the way if we could avoid those. But attached is what the recommendation for the Planning and Zoning Board came up with. And I appreciate Mr. Nyland an opportunity for us to present to the board what they had recommended. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer anything we did on that or to recommendations.
Quick question. So this is for specific named like a tobacco and vape store. If I wanted to put in all those things that are in one of those stores, oil change and hair cutting, would I be allowed in B1?
Yes, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
It is, because specifically when we defined it, a specialized retail establishment whereby 25% or more of its space is used for the sale, storage, consumption of tobacco products, electronic smoking, vaping devices, I'm sure it's Crantum, CBD hemp derived Delta 8 and related accessories. And it even further an area whereby include patrons where, and I didn't know about this, share the tobacco or non-tobacco products or products from a communal hookah,
Mhm.
water pipe, or similar device. So, yeah,
See those.
I've learned a lot.
You see those in Houston all the time.
Yeah.
So the reason I was asking, so it's limited to 25%. 25% of the store
Yes,
space. Okay.
25%. That's correct. Yeah, a specialized store where 25% or more. So, if they do less than 25%, if 24% of their space is dedicated to this, a Speedway, for example, they sell vaping, tobacco products, cigars, but it's obviously that less than 25% of their business is dedicated to that type of sale. But stores specifically designed for just the sale of tobacco and these other products, then yeah, they're going to fall into this definition. So
my question is, per the language, when you say if one closes and then someone tries to, or what if they just buy the business from the person that's already there?
I would say yes. If it's an established business, then yes. If I wanted to buy it, if Thomas Mitchell owns this and I say I want to buy it, then I can't move it. I can't change it. Or if I say, well, I'll rent the space next to you and I'll open me one as well, then no, I'm not going to meet the criteria to open another one. We're not saying that they can't be like at the Food Line or the Ingalls, those locations. We're not saying that they can't be there, but we just don't want 2 or 3 to be located in the same shopping center. So yes, to your point, this would not say that they couldn't open, but they couldn't open additional stores. I think was the intent of the text amendment.
So going back to last year, I know this came up. So because the special use permit now carries over with the transfer of property, is that correct?
It will, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
you're
That's what I
correct,
thought.
yes.
That's the caveat. We can't stop it.
And I'm sorry I hadn't had a chance to talk to Mr. Campbell since this. Have you had a chance? And I know this, he was just throwing probably him tonight. Have you had a chance to look or any legal? Yeah, if they were at least 1,000 from property line. So we were assuming a vendor, if you rent one spot, 1,000 linear feet storage front to get to another one before they could, or if it did fall into a school zone or neighbor residential property or any of these others. So it's possible it would be hard, especially in the shopping centers.
Well, I thought for the sake of clarity, you could say something along the lines of only one per
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it says property line to property line, which would be the period for number of
Encompassing the whole shopping center rather than business to business.
you get dead in the two line of property. The parcel, 1,000 foot radius for all that.
Mm.
You can get 1,000 feet. It should be both. Yeah. It should, in reality, have both pieces of language in it.
Yeah, yeah, this is just a draft, and so absolutely, this is,
So if the board wants to do that, I think that's why. The changes that proposed.
Campbell, you good with that? That would,
Ready to move forward.
we can-
I make a motion that we move forward with this with the change, per Attorney Campbell, that there's only one allowed on each tax parcel.
I'll second that.
It's been moved in second that, text amendment attachment I would be, with the exception of the 1 radius of 1,000 square feet. Just
or
one,
in each,
okay,
tax parcel.
per Mr. Campbell, Attorney Campbell. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? That's safe too. I mean, that's just.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Greenwood. Okay, and item E, ABC, commissions.
Mayor, if I would, I'd like to ask, Keith, the chairman of our IBC board, come.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you again, Mayor.
Mhm.
Basically what we are requesting is we had a recent audit by the North Carolina ABC Commission. And one of the updated documents that they like to have on file at the ABC Commission is that if the store is profitable above our working capital, which is basically 2 months of budgetary funds that we have to maintain to keep the stores operational. If we exceed that, then those extra funds can be moved to a capital improvement account. And previous boards, before we merged with the city of King, done this to allow us to purchase equipment, purchase and help open the store in King. And so I'm basically just asking for a letter of support to continue this. And so we can have it on file at the ABC Commission that this board, along with the city of King, we're asking the same thing of them. And if we do meet this to where we exceed the working capital, our next goal is to update the Walnut Cove store to do improvements at this location.
Okay.
And that's basically what it's for. And we met with our ABC Commission auditor this morning. And sometime this weekend, I'll share the report with the board. And so you can see the outcome of that.
I think I make a motion to go on and, authorize the letter needed to the ABC board.
I second that.
It's been moved in second for the letter of support, capital improvement. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Very good. Thank you, Chief Boo.
All right, and one last thing on that, another requirement of the ABC Commission is that we changed our distribution schedule. In the past, we would provide distributions to the municipalities once a year. We have changed that based off of our auditor's request. And so now we are providing distribution checks on a quarterly basis to the town of Walnut Cove as well as to the city of King. And to next month, I forgot to get it to the manager in Austin, but I'll bring a updated merger agreement back before the board's approval. And basically it's just updating the wording in there to reflect that we are doing our distributions on a quarterly basis instead of a yearly basis. And don't hold me to these numbers, but I think the last check that we provided to the town was somewhere around 27,000, I think roughly. And so with the sales of both locations, we're able to do that on a quarterly basis now versus a yearly. The King store is doing really well. The Walnut Cove store is maintaining and doing well as also. And so I think the city of King is very happy with the distributions that they've got twice now. So thank y'all for the support on this project. And officially this month is we've made it a full year of being a merged ABC board. We started February 1st of 2024, opened the store in July, and this month we've made it a year cooperating with the city of King on this project. So thank you, Elwood, for helping with this in the past as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good news. Thank you. Next, we have the streetlight discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor, Alton, did a nighttime ride, and we went around town, with two things in mind. One, kind of see where some lights might be out that need to be, before we get back on, which we did. But it was also pretty well thought that we needed some upgrade in some of our lighting in some of our areas. So I did a quick look at it, and it's gonna take about 10 to 14 lights, that we're gonna need to add, and they needed to be added on high traffic areas that are very dark. And if you highway 65, after you cross the railroad tracks, going over towards Walnut Street, it's very, very dark. And it's inside the city limits, and it's not safe, and we have some currents and things there, so we need to add about 3 or 4 lights along there. Also on Main Street, when we get up north on Main Street, there is a section there that, Mayor, we got kind of, we got really dark, remember? We almost
Yeah.
fell for a hole trying to get out walking,
Mhm.
you had the hard part, you and Austin had the hard part.
Yeah.
Walking. I stayed in the dark. But, anyway, there's about 5 or 6 that we may need to add there. And then also on Lakeside Drive, and there is a long section stretch from there that is completely dark. And since Lakeside Drive is a parallel main way for us, both in emergency situations for the chief and for, people coming and going, it's a main thoroughfare. There are about 4 or 5 that we need to add there. So what I'm asking the board, if they would, is allow the staff to go ahead and add these street lights at intervals that make sense. And I'm guessing, well, this will be paid for out of Powder Fund. And my estimation is this addition will probably cost us about $2,000 to $3,000 more a year. That's not a significant cost in the overall for the safety and things like that. And Mayor, you were with us. You agree with this, right?
Yeah, normally with Duke Energy, they can tap onto another pole. It's pretty easier that way. But, yeah, so,
So my recommendation is if the board would allow staff to add these lights as we discussed here, to put them on our Powellville list and go ahead and get those on. I noticed when I was riding the streets tonight, and by the way, I rode streets this afternoon and tonight, that I wanted to see how they were doing after the snow and the feet freeze and fall really bad. And we came out pretty well as far as no major chunks and things and that kind of thing. But I also wanted to look to see if we had some more streetlights out, and I found something more out.
yeah. In addition to that, Brenda has been very helpful. I had some citizens to come up to me about some lights being out, and she's been very helpful in going in there and getting some of those lights lit up that's been out. So I appreciate you, Brenda, on helping me with that as well. So.
Mayor, if please the board, and they would like us to do that, then we just need a motion second authorize us to add these. I make a motion that we allow the staff to go ahead and add those street lights. It's something we've discussed for a while.
Been moved in second for the street light to be added. Let the town staff run, interim town manager to handle this. Is question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Manager's report?
Just want to say, first of all, I agree with the mayor. We are blessed with our staff and what they're doing, and with the chief left, well, the heck with him, no. He has been very good to work with. Tim has, the public works staff and everything else. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that. And where we are today in position to do some things that I'm going to be talking about is because of what you and they have done in the past. Okay, I just want to make that clear. This past week was my 71st birthday, and I thought it would be a good time to reflect on what we have accomplished and where we stand today.
Over a year ago, I was asked if I could help with the transition from your past management and provide a path forward through this transitional period. The town had a long-term manager and there was a feeling for a need of a new direction going forward, which he said. It is always a good idea to have a little longer separation from old and new staff so the board and staff can have an adjustment period. With that in mind, I would like to review the last 7 months and look at what might be in the future. I need to know where the board's thoughts are so I can plan my future activities and travel. I was tasked with keeping operations going and was contracted for 20 hours a week. I've been able to get results for all the requests from board members. I found many areas needing attention and therefore I have put many more hours working on the town's behalf. This also required more on-site days than expected. I have gladly done this in trying to make a difference for the town of Walnut Cove. I have also served at half the cost of a full-time manager. I inherited a difficult situation with the existing finance director leaving and some complex accounting and reporting situations. Grants from several sources and the required paperwork made this more challenging. I found problems in our accounting policies and training, which has led the town to be placed on the unit advisory list with the local government commission. That led to another level of reporting requirements for the town. We also had reporting and internal control issues. This led to more on-site time and meetings with the state. None of this was known when I was contracted for the interim town manager. With that said, I would like to highlight some of the improvements we have accomplished over this period of time. Internal controls. We have instituted segregation of duties in our finance procedures. We now have different people entering payments and those reconciling our bank statements. During this process, we discovered accounting issues and had to correct them, one going back to 2023. We now have a system in place that will remove this finding from the audit in 24-25. The audit. Alston and I have worked very hard to get you your first on-time audit in 5 years. This has required a lot of catch-up with reconciliations and cleaning up prior year's misstatements. This is an important event in that it is a necessity as you move forward with next year's budget. We need accurate information so informed decisions can be made in reference to tax and utility policies moving forward. This was a priority for me and will allow us to present accurate financial information to the board for budgeting purposes. And I want to say here, your audit will be presented at your next month's meeting. It has been submitted to the LGC. It will be an on-time audit and it will be a clean opinion. Website and public information. Our website went live in December and Alston has made it the envy of our neighbors. Information is being downloaded and citizens and visitors alike can access meetings, minutes, and events, among other things. Alston deserves a lot of credit with his public information and technology background in keeping the website current and useful. He has also been instrumental in keeping our social media platforms current. The county school system, and this is something new that you may want to be thinking about, the county school system has contacted us, and this is just in the last couple weeks, about possibly sharing a digital information sign somewhere on Main Street. It would further allow us to advertise events and meetings and help impart important information to our citizens. Training. We were in serious need of training of our personnel. With the departure of our manager and finance officer, I have asked all our staff members to look at what training we need so they can be certified in their respective positions. Brandy is on track that over the next few years become a certified clerk. Addie is being trained currently for finance duties and has done very well in absorbing the information. The goal is to send her to the 2-year program starting late this summer. The Institute of Government and the North Carolina Finance Officers Association provide the training. Alston is currently halfway through this certification program. He has monthly online all-day training that will continue through September. We need to have backup certifications also in our utility department. We recently got a very good OSHA inspection, but we must stay vigilant with training and the required documentation. Everyone is working hard to see that we have the best practices going forward. Finance reporting. When I came here, you were getting financial reports, sometimes quarterly and sometimes semi-annually. You are now getting monthly statements of our chart of accounts and will soon be getting the entire report on bank balances and fund reports. We are getting closer with the restatement of past year's accounts to be able to give you balances. We would like to start the process of going to purchase orders, which we are not using currently, and we need to go to that. That'll allow us to track encumbrances and produce better financial statements. London Park. When I came, London Park bids that we received were 400,000 plus over what we budgeted. We have come up with a plan that will downsize the shelter, but give us everything else required by PARTF, the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, and the SCIF funding. We will also get bathrooms, which were not part of the original PARTF funding. This has been a particularly difficult process, trying to get grading and the installation done within our budget. The grading has been completed, and we expect the playground to be installed next week. The bathrooms are due in late March, and I can't wait to work with the mayor to set up a grand opening, probably in May when the weather gets good, and that'll be something kind of good for everybody. Groundbreaking in May. Citizens Academy. The Citizen Academy was a great success. We had an average attendance of 12, with most of those attending all 4 sessions. This required 4 more night meetings for me, but I got great joy at seeing our attendees have fun and learn about their town government. This program, if continued, will be a great help to our board by creating knowledgeable ambassadors going forward. There was much enthusiasm by those attending, and the feedback was to do more sessions so that they could spend more time in each area. Best Utilities Management Program. As being designated as a distressed utility, we were required to do board training on issues and best practices for managing our utility systems. Alston and I attended the required training, and we were able to bring that training to the board on January 14th meeting with a full day of learning of what our best practices and expectations of the state. We have now met this requirement, and we'll use this information as we develop plans going forward. We have an asset inventory report for our wastewater system and are in the process of having one done on our sewer system. These are both required and will allow us to apply for grants in the next year. We have developed a great relationship with the state staff, and they are being very helpful with grant possibilities. Working with them, we are also going to be saving money on future engineering costs. Cost savings. When I got here, we were on the hook for $150,000 of the cost of the lead service line requirement by the federal government. The LGC has even approved us taking out a loan of that amount to be paid out over 5 years. I had experience with this program and informed the engineers doing this report to stop and let us finish the required information. The original price was over $400,000, the state paying $300,000 and us $150,000. By finishing this internally with the existing staff, we have saved, and I have here $60,000, but I got the report today. I think we're going to be saving closer to $75,000 to $80,000. So we're not going to have to take out as big a loan to pay off or do that. By finishing it, we now have only $90,000, but it looks like it's only going to be $75,000. I worked with the state to see if we could resubmit under the distressed unit list and get the match waived on our AIA report that we have to do as part of the distressed unit list. They said they have never done this before because we had already agreed to pay the $30,000 when we got the grant. Got the partial grant back in spring. But we got word last week we were approved for the match abatement. I always try to pay for myself, and these 2 items alone more than does that. We will do a budget amendment next month with our plan on how we will meet and pay for this project. And that's all good news because it's going to be far less than what we would have had done otherwise. Water meter upgrades. I want to talk about things that are ongoing. This project will have a great positive impact on cost and revenue enhancements. It will also be of great benefit to our citizens and staff. I contacted the State Department in September and asked how we could get this included in our special appropriation grant. They reviewed my idea and encouraged us to do this. Just this week, we got approval in writing that we can do this. Great news. For the past 3 months, we have been meeting with our engineers and staff to look at different meter systems. We have a request for proposal that is going out this week that will have at least 4 companies giving us proposals back. The plan is to review those in late February and bring a recommendation back to you in March. Implementation will be about 60-day process, and we hope to have a system in place by June. just as an aside, anything, when you all, and when we talk budget and things, we may want to look once we get these meters and it's going to be so much easier to send out bills. You may want to look at the possibility of going to monthly billing instead of bi-monthly, which will save, costs for citizens and more timely cutoffs. Interconnect with Forsyth County Utilities. I have been working very hard in putting us in a position to upgrade our system to a more dependable source. We have met with Forsyth Utilities and a model has been produced to say that it is viable. That's good news. We have almost finished a preliminary engineering report with costs associated with the project. We are starting discussions with the state about possible funding mechanisms. As you know, we are having issues with our various wells and quality of water. Also, if we lose power for a length of time, we do not have backup power at our wells. Long-term costs are probably better for the town with this connection. Also, any need for growth or economic development will be satisfied by this project. Capitalizing on Project Delta is just one example of this project. County currently charges us 66 cents per thousand, and Forsyth County Interconnect is currently at 22 cents per thousand. So that's a pretty significant savings. Closeout of grants. We have a deadline of December 31st this year to finalize all of our outstanding grant awards. After that, remaining funds will revert to the state. The town hall project was very complex, and I am pushing completion of the water meter project. Lighting at town hall and our overflow valves at the water tank have been approved and in the process of being completed. This will require a lot of attention so we can meet the deadline. So what I'm saying here is we want to maximize all the 1.2 or 3 million that are left. We don't want to be sending that back to the state. We have to December 31st to spend it. So with the water meter projects probably going to be in the 750 to 800,000 range. The overflow valves in a couple $100,000. And the lighting project on City Hall here is about 65,000. But anyway, we're going to try to spend all of that money on projects for the town and not give any back to the state. There are 4 separate departments within Diener that must approve these expenditures. We have been in touch with them and they seem willing to help us going forward. In addition, we are dealing with PARTIF grant and the SCIF grant. Both of these involve London Park, and with SCIF being a pass-through grant from the county. So the SCIF money came to the county. That's the $200,000 grant. And that is a pass-through grant that we have to go through a reimbursement process to get. But that was for the London Park. So that's what we and that's what SCIF is. It was a acronym. I'm not sure what it stands for, but it was money that the state gave to the county for us. Both of those involve London Park, with the SCIF being a pass-through from county. Grant reporting is a detailed process and if not done correctly can result in a loss of funds and the ability to pursue future applications. Clean Water Management Trust, PARTIF, Park, the YMCA. We've begun a very ambitious project involving property off 311. We are dealing with some tight deadlines, one in April, one in May. We could wait, but I don't want to lose a year in funding, seeing as these grants are annual in nature. We have the PARTIF grant started and will be able to partner with the County Recreation Master Plan. The county is interested in partnering with us on this project, and they are looking at expanding their recreation money they spend on recreation as part of their master plan they're doing. And Mayor, you know Jesse Day from the COG. He's the one doing the plan, and we are now included in that. So we got put into that. We will be having weekly meetings to meet the deadlines for the application. Hannah Bowen with Clean Water Management Trust Fund is willing to help with a partial funding, which may result in both grants, not with the town not having any money in the property. That's what I'm working on. It's not guaranteed, but I'm working on trying to get this so that we have nothing in it. She feels our scoring will put us in the supplemental range of secondary funding. We met with the recreational regional rep last Tuesday, and he likes the project very much. He will be an advocate for us at the state level. He was rather excited about it, and Mayor, I want to thank you for starting that process. Let's see, the town, he was excited. If the grant is funded on the acquisition, they will expect us to apply for the improvements in the next year, which is good news. That means they want to give us more money because they approve, buying the land. I'm also looking at congressional funding and have been in contact with our U.S. senators, our representatives, Virginia and Virginia Fox. A lot of moving parts on this, but doable. We are also looking in the fall for a land and water conservation fund, which will allow us to get $750,000. And I feel very strongly that we will get that. So we are moving in the right direction in terms of raising funds towards this center and towards the park project. Project Delta. I have been actively pursuing the utility needs for this project. We will require the internet to achieve the capacity in providing services to this site. This is also essential for economic development. We had some money left over from the interconnect project, and our engineers are working on the preliminary engineering report so that we can forward that to the developers. Delta has indicated that they will pay all the costs and necessary improvements. This will be a home run with revenue generated. We are looking at some possible general fund financial support also. We need to stay aggressive here because the county water is trying to serve them also. They need sewer, and I have indicated that, which I hope you will back us up on this, that if Delta uses our sewer, we would like them to use our water also because of metering and that kind of thing. So we need to be serving them. We are drafting a letter to that extent, and we are on process of trying to meet those timetables. And to give you guys some kind of an idea what we're talking about, this is pretty complex stuff. But at least we got started. We're in the right place with the viable utilities. We're in the right place with the preliminary engineering reports that we can do this interconnect and get this stuff done in the 2 to 3 year period that it takes to get all the stuff approved, designed, and done. But again, that will be y'all's decisions in the next several months as we go forward if you decide that's the direction you want to take. Downtown master plan. We are in the middle of some possible great things for our downtown. Lizzie Morrison with the state is in the middle of working with our committee in developing strategies for enhancements in our core group of buildings. I have experience with this kind of project as evidenced by my work when I was mayor in Mount Airy. We need to keep the enthusiasm up and tap more into the businesses and stakeholders. I have traveled up and down Main Street and talked to every business owner and met with every business. I think there is excitement and great possibilities. Policies. We have a real need to update and adopt policies and procedures with respect to water, sewer, and finance. We apparently have not cut off anybody for non-payment since 2020. This is what most towns did in response to COVID because it was a requirement. But now that has come off. My intentions are to send letters to those in arrears and work with them to try to get them caught up in a reasonable period of time. The LGC has noted this among other issues in need of our attention. We also need finance policies on everything from fund balance to internal controls. We have started on some of these, but much work needs to be done. And I do want to say one of the other things that we are working on and we started this week is, Mayor, you mentioned the Beehive system. That has now changed names and it's currently called Civic Plus, but it's the same thing. Alston and I are working on trying to get that in because that ties to finance and reporting and everything else. And I think that's a good thing. And we need, since we have it, we need to use it. So we're working on getting that in up and running. With that said, a typical interim situation rarely has a portfolio this large. All of this raises the question of where we are going in the next transitional period. The board's hiring process has started for the manager. Applications close at the end of this month. The board needs time to review these applications and schedule interviews with candidates. Typical time frame for this is 45 days, and then with notices and things, you're looking at May, June before anybody would be here. We currently only have 3 applications, 2 from out of state and 1 from in-state. So with that said, I thought it would be a good time for me to get some clarity from you all on what you think is the best going forward. I want to say, as I say these, I am absolutely perfectly fine with anything the board decides because I have enjoyed my time here. The first option is I give my 60-day notice and finish up what I can on the project and the budget. I don't believe this is the best option for the town, but would accept this if this is what the board thinks is best. Second option, I work with a selected manager, whenever that is, until the end of the fiscal year, which will probably be just a month or so, and continue with the town as project consultant, similar to what we had when I came and brought Ken. This would be somewhat problematic option in that the town budget process needs to start probably mid next month. Going into April, we can talk about that later. Third option. Pause the manager search for 2 months, keeping the current applicants in the pool, and ask Alston if he would be interested in the interim manager for day-to-day issues starting in April. He is not interested in the full-time position. He is not interested and will not be involved. But he may do the interim until you could get another manager in. This would allow me to help him on all projects and put together the budget. If he decides he does not want to do this interim job, I will continue to work until a viable manager is selected. I won't leave you in the lurch. I won't do that. I would request a travel allowance for my own calendar. The budget process with the board retreat and plan session should be done late March, early April. We'll try to schedule that, hopefully. This option has the best outcome for the town. This also is the most cost-effective for the town. And let me close by saying this. I am absolutely fine with any of the above options and would respect any decision for me. You as a group need to decide what you think is the best for the town going forward. I have tried my best to be respectful to all concerned and represent you in a way that you would be proud. I have a great relationship with staff and the people of the community and will treasure my time here in Walnut Cove. I believe I have used my 45 years of government experience for the benefit of this great town. My hope is that you see this as an investment in the future. I think you see I still have a passion for local government. No matter what choice you make in the near term, and I want to stress this, I consider everyone I've met and worked with as a friend. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts. Respectfully submitted. Ron.
Question, Ron, just out of curiosity, the 3 candidates, you said 2 are out of state?
One from Idaho and one from Maine.
Oh, wow.
But I think the deadline, isn't it March?
It's the end of this month, yeah.
Oh, March 15th. So it's up to March 15th.
That's
So
what
what is, just curious, like, how do the candidates look? Are they walkable?
I can't say because I
Right.
don't know any of them.
Right,
I couldn't,
right.
but all I can say is, if, 2 gentlemen, there's 2 gentlemen, 1 lady. From out of state, it seems a little stretch to me. I mean, again, I'm not, but again, that's something the board would,
Yeah.
and I respect you all to decide, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say my opinion, and I know I'm the youngest of
Yeah.
the officials, the election, newest up here. I just wanna say, wow, thank you, Ron, for all you've done. I mean, just going back over that, it's pretty amazing. And to me, your record is working. I think we're crazy as far as where we are. Even with the budget, with using the town's money correctly, not to extend. If we only have 3 and 2 of those are out of state, I think we're crazy not to extend that and ask Alston to take the day-to-day, because in my opinion, that's why the board has a town staff. That's what you are. We're not to run day-to-day. You guys are to run day-to-day. That's why we have you guys. So I would think it makes sense for Alston, if he would, and I get he's frustrated with a lot of things. If not, if you would, because we've got a lot of things rolling and moving that we're on tight timelines, and you've been the one pushing all of this and getting it done. And to me, we're crazy not to take that into a huge consideration. So my opinion is option 3. That's
Well,
just my opinion.
I would like to make my recommendation as well. I know we got into March the 15th. I think a lot was presented tonight. I'd like to see a copy of all of that just for my refreshment, just to go back and look at it. I think there will be my thoughts on this. There's gonna be more that's gonna be applying. I had some calls myself, I'm just saying, from local, but they're not committing to anything, but they said they would be applying for that position. I mean, so, I'm just saying, I don't wanna make a decision on something. I'd like to see that as your copies run of what you have, that's me, to just go back, cause there's a lot presented tonight, and I just like to go back and read, because when you just, I don't wanna make a quick decision on, I'm just saying for me, I just recommending a quick decision on anything, but I just like to go back and look at some options. I think, this town has come a long ways in the little building that they were in. I think the town staff, and I have to give them prompts for what they did back when it was a little building. And now, Mr. Greenwood got this monies for a nice facility. I think the town staff, I'd like to have some of their opinions. I think it's only right that your staff have some say so in some things. They have to work with people. And that's just my recommendation, that they are the ones that's here on a daily basis. How do they feel? You always want to make sure your staff is in a good place, because there's jobs out there that they can be elsewhere. That's just me, because that's my opinion about it, because make a quick decision and you don't never know. I'm not saying that anybody would take that road to say, I want to do something else with my career, but I think a town staff is always important, that for them to have to work with individuals, get their input, take time and have conversations with them on how they feel. That's my recommendation.
So let me go back and recap just to make sure I'm hearing things correctly from you. So we have two significant grant deadlines in the spring, or else we're out another year. We have the grant window to complete or revert funds before December 31st, and that includes the moving parts of an altitude valve, radio read meters being purchased, installed, commissioned, all that. The interconnect is a big issue for us, because I know we've got two wells, one long-term offline, another one recently offline, and was there a problem with another one recently? Wells, okay, that's the second one now. We've got a budget that's gotta be completed, and we have to do that budget within the LDC stuff. We have a recreation plan that's coming forth with the county. We have policies that have to be completed in the LDC stuff. I understand other people are gonna apply or say they might apply. And I understand the concerns about staff. That's all well and good, but the problem is we miss out on the opportunity to complete these other things in the timelines that we've got. So I'm not saying that we just turn the keys over for the next year, but I'm saying I think we should retain our current structure for a few more months than we had planned on. Because we don't even know if Austin's interested in interim, because then that would mean we'd have to discuss a pay adjustment. I do know that I do remember the discussions early on when you first came in and were consulting. And the amount of travel is a big deal. And how far it is from here to Mount Airy. Current IRS, I looked up 72.5 cents per mile. We're looking at round trip 4 days a week at the most. So what is your need? Because this comes down to you too.
I absolutely feel, I am not looking to stay any longer than I have to, except if the board wishes me to work. But I need to put your plans on over the next 4 to 5 months. And because I have other options and other things I do. I'm not going to be in a lurch, but at the same time, if the board is looking at making a change either in the next month and a half, it's going to be awful difficult in the middle of a budget year. And Kim, you can speak to that. You have mentioned to me many times that this would be an awful time to do it. But I am ready
going forward over the next 4 or 5 months and going forward with this project. And that's all I'm looking for. I'm not saying don't stop managing, absolutely keep managing search till on.
Mhm.
I would absolutely say if you find candidates, enough candidates that you think that that you want and absolutely interview and look at people and stuff like that. I mean, somebody's there to work with whoever if you want to continue on that way. If not, that's okay too. So I guess what I'm looking for is some clarification tonight is I
It would be highly disrespectful for us not to give you that, to me, in my opinion, as a business owner, it would be disrespectful for me not to allow my employees to know how to plan their future, especially when you're looking at short time. And I think drawing it out and not making a decision would be very disrespectful to you, to the staff and everybody, because Mayor Brown's right, it affects everybody.
Yeah, I think you need, and I appreciate you, Ron, and what you have done and so forth. I think this town needs a permanent town manager. We got a lot, right, there you go. You're just what I'm saying. So I think right. So right, well, that's understandable. And I say the deadline is the 15th, but you already got that out there advertised. I know PTRC has it out there, North Carolina Legal Municipality, I think, and some of the others. Someone asked me, was it on the town managers, I think for the state on their website as well. But then that individual gonna need some, they come in and they're gonna need some training as well. But so right, yeah, right,
You gotta look at your candidates. Scheduling interviews is a month-long process. It's your schedule, their schedule, everybody together. Then if you select somebody, and I am praying that you find the right person.
I think so.
But even if you do, they have to get noticed. So I guess what I'm looking at is, you're looking at, if you do this right, if you do it, and I know you're gonna do it right, you're looking at the best possible educating somebody in your district and do. And that's way beyond the budget, and I just want some clarification from the board. Do you want me to continue on working and doing this and doing the budget and keeping funds flowing? Or do you think it's time for me to step aside and you all look in a different direction? I'm absolutely fine with anything, like I said, y'all are friends of mine. I don't have a single negative thing against anyone. I think in reality, in order for this to be a transition, we should at least consider the concept of letting you know that you would be here through July 31st. Because that allows the budget to be enacted. Well, I know, but I'm saying July 31st, I'm just saying to let you know that, you've got some solidity to be, up to that point, because this is a lot of hardcore stuff that you just don't throw back on somebody that's new. And even if they're from out of state, now you're talking about somebody that doesn't have municipal background in the state of North Carolina, which is a vast different place than, say, Iowa or Maine. This is a colonial state dealing with old colonial laws and a very, very hardcore treasurer and auditor's office. They don't tend to play. So that's my 2 cents, is that we need to, at least as a courtesy for what you've done, is to say that you're good through the end of July. And that gives us the time to get this, and then we can reevaluate where we're at. But I'd say if we don't have any more applicants by the deadline, that we should extend it 2 more months. Because we just need to really, the mayor and everybody else, all the contacts that everybody here has and knows in other municipalities across the state, she's well connected and can reach out and say, hey, consider coming here and apply.
That's correct. Have done that.
Okay,
Yeah,
can
that'd be
I say
kind of-
something now?
Okay.
Okay, this is me. I'm a straight shooter. I ain't holding nothing back to what I'm about to say. I don't mind you staying here, but one thing I do want is somebody to follow policy. Because when you got an experienced person and policies are being broken, and I know they're being broken, then I got a problem with that. I wait, just wait a minute. Yeah, everybody done talk for me. I want to talk. So, like I said, we discussed it in your office a while back, and you told me it wasn't important. You looked me dead in my face. Yes, you did. Austin is a witness. But
Okay.
going forward, like I said, I don't mind you staying. I just don't sit up there and pretend. I'm not a political person. I'm a citizen person. I'm about the citizens. I ain't nothing about politics is in me. And you know, like I said, I'm always been fair to you, and I would thought that you would be fair to me. I don't like backstabbing. I can't stand it. I don't like snakes. I've been very clear on that for the last 5-6 years. I do not like it. Like I said, I mean, you know, all I just ask is somebody to follow policy and treat everybody fair. That's all I ask. You can stay, but just do not break policy. And then, you know, like I said, I can show you that you broke it. Okay, well, we can discuss it, but like I said, just don't break it, because like I said, well, when you got that much experience, hey, if you can't follow a simple rules, it's just like me going out on 311, and I know if I'm going 65, I'm breaking the policy. So that's all I ask, and I don't need nobody going back to say, hey, did you tell? I don't need that. Come to me. I'm a man, you a man. You come to me. We don't have to go around pity pat. I don't need that. I mean, like I said, I'm a straight up guy. I'm fair. I'm nice. But when I need to say something that's not right, I'm gonna address it. I have addressed it several times, but nobody paid attention. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Donnie, what are your thoughts?
I think we should just see how many applicants we can get.
That's March 15th.
So what are we saying here? I mean, I think we're just.
Well, we
all
still,
concerned
I mean,
with
when is the
everything.
budget? The budget is what, July, June, or March? When is the April? Mhm. Mhm.
And obviously, being new here, I've never been a part of the
Yeah,
town's budget
that's right.
retreat.
Yeah.
What I do feel for the 2 months I've been here is I think, in my opinion, we as a board and town staff need to have some serious training on what our roles are, from the board to the town to even the town staff reporting to the town manager, because I think there's some overstepping there too. You know, I think they are doing some overstepping. I think that I just think there needs to be some clear things where's the line, you know, because the board here, we're all on level. Everybody here, we're all on level. Nobody's above anybody. And I think sometimes that's not the feeling. And I think that I just think part of our retreat or whatever it needs to be, we need some understanding and some board and staff training, in my opinion, because I think that may be part of the lack of applicants. I think maybe our reputation may be getting out. I'm just being honest. That's who I am. I want transparency, and I think people know that we need to clean up inside.
Mhm.
I'm just being honest.
It's, well, it starts with respect. It's pretty. I've been in the industry for almost 39 years. I tell you, I'm on the government side. I've said this a number of times. It's not that complicated, and especially if you to get back on track of what we're gonna need for this budget, The board, y'all make y'all, the Board of Commissioners, y'all make the call of what you would like for, to go forward with this. We definitely want, we need to make some type of decision. So, I mean, I said we as the board needs to, so,
I mean, pretty much everybody sit there saying it's like.
okay, okay,
It ain't a no-brainer.
Okay.
there.
okay,
Everybody spoke what they spoke.
okay.
The decisions really have been made, if everybody was paying attention. We just sit up there and say, it, but like I said, we get to know, everybody said it. Said everything, they said it, was definitely say.
Okay.
So
And
it
then
sounds
it-
like,
and
like
it's-
there's an agreement of
Right.
continuity for the
Yeah.
town for
Right.
the works?
Yeah.
Is that what we're all saying?
Everybody said the same thing.
And also, we will hold the applicants until March the 15th. They will be coming in, because I'm pretty sure more gonna be coming in. This, I have been talking to other mayors and other town managers and so forth. So I'm pretty sure there are some other applicants that's gonna drop their names in that. Okay.
So then, because I just like clarity, and I don't think we
That's
have clarity. I'm so confused.
That's okay.
So we're saying because we are wanting continuity moving forward, asking Austin if he'll do the day-to-day things. If not, Ron's gonna keep but if Austin will do the day-to-day, then Ron, you're saying your focus will be the budget and the continuing projects to get things closed up by December 31st, so we're not handing back funds, as well as moving forward on these other projects that have really close deadlines to keep us moving. Is that?
No,
The consensus?
I didn't say nothing about, me personally. I thought y'all said, me and Ryan was gonna do it, but I ain't say nothing about Austin.
The day-to-day is being run. That's what
Yeah,
you're saying.
Okay.
The day-to-day to be run,
I think it should
as
be.
as it has been,
Yeah.
as it has been.
And
Is that right?
I personally think it should remain with
In his,
him
right.
because we are tasking Austin with a
Yeah.
lot.
A
Yeah.
lot.
And he's very talented, but he also carries a judicial responsibility that his mistakes could cost him too. Now, I think it would be great for him to be heavily involved in some of this process. That way, I mean, if anything happens to anybody, we want crossover. But I personally would like it to stay as Commissioner Mitchell has indicated with our current interim town manager.
Okay. As it is.
I think it's just a consensus, yeah.
But I just want to first, yeah, it's gonna stay as the same. That's,
I don't think it was a vote.
no,
It-
no,
it's just a
no, this just,
consensus, I
this
guess.
is,
We just
Does that
need
answer
some
what you
direction.
need, Ron?
does that answer?
No, he just they just sit up there and said, do the budget all the way to what? June,
June
July,
30th.
whatever.
June 30th.
So June
It w-
30th, so when
Right.
when there's a new town manager,
Mhm.
that will give time to coordinate the transition. Again, finish out the projects.
Okay.
That's consultant.
Okay, I go fast. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut nobody off. At first, okay, I'm just gonna say, anybody else, commissioners, y'all want to talk?
Oh, yeah, by the way, I do want to thank the Public Works Department and Brandy today for the great deed that y'all did today, for Wheeling Copper Project. On behalf of them, they told me to tell y'all thank you, and they will be contacting y'all, and please make sure you send that bill to them. But I do appreciate it. On the short notice, we had a big catastrophe work today where a contractor busted one of our main water lines, so we have no water as of probably right now still, but yet and still, the town came to say that they we purchased something from the town, so we want to thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts for what y'all did today.
A lot of our citizens work there.
So thank you to Public Works as well as the snowstorm, and I just want to do clarification on that, Mr. Commissioner Jarvis, that on that meeting that we did have, Commissioner Mitchell said we need a meeting for 911 versus non-911 numbers, I really shouldn't have gotten in the middle of it. This is why I say it's so important when you have a town manager. It keeps the mayor and some of the commissioners out of the process of the operation. And that being said, I had reached out to Ron about what is the plan. You're a day before a major ice storm and you don't have a plan. And I'm at home and Commissioner Mitchell is saying it would be good to have a non-911 number for the citizen to call rather than the 911 number. If I hadn't said anything, and maybe I shouldn't have, then I want to know what to do before a major storm. So calling a meeting, it was just, I didn't even call to come to the town hall. The interim town manager did that and set everything up. But I was in a meeting. And anytime I'm in a meeting, if my name is not called, and this is on the job I'm on now, as well as this job, it's just out of respect. It was a not to get out of control. It was just that I said I was in that meeting. If I had not said anything, would a meeting been called? It's not about me for this town. I wanted to say, it's not about Nellie Brown. I give my town to this town because I love my town. I was born and raised in here. Been in Stokes County all my life. And the thing about it is, it's not about, well, I'm not a joke. I'm the real deal. And I'm not a politician. People can label you as a politician, but I'm a human being. My character of who I am, my dignity of what I do, my characteristic of my family, and being born and raised in this town, I would not give all of my life to this town right now as much as I have given from 2019 to this current time just to be a joke. I'm not a joke. I'm the real deal. And I'm not a finger pointing person. I can work around and get along with anybody. But Mr. Jarvis, that hurt me very dearly. When you put 19 people on that county email saying those things about me, I came back to say, I don't want to be disrespected and I don't want to go to the law. We have to get along. These people voted us in. And as you said, Commissioner Johnston, we're representing this town. I'm going to stay focused moving forward on this town. Anything else other than that? I just want the town to know I'm not about it's not about Nellie. And I have been sworn under oath, and I take that very serious when I am sworn under oath to do the best I can for the town. Going back to Public Works, I thank them for what they did. Chief Lemons, Sheriff Lemons, and also Chief Boo, the first responders. We had a bad storm, but we was blessed. Because so many other towns, we could have had no power. I pray that our power would stay on, our water. Mark and them got out there and had to work on residential properties where their water lines had busted. At the town hall, I think they had a major line. Also, PTRC next week is being canceled. Our meeting is canceled. Also, New Hope is getting ready to open up the street. That's going to be nice. I did meet with the Y. I met with Chris last week in Winston-Salem about bringing a Y. I want to get with the advisory board and get the meeting set up for looking at possibly a Y in Wanaco. But my goals is for this term, hopefully we get a hotel. Hopefully we get an urgent care. But I just want to let the people know that I'm all for you. And they know I have a listening ear whenever they need me. It's not about Nellie. I'm just a team player. That without a team, can't no work get done. That's all I have to say. Anybody else? Okay. Motion.
Second.
Been moved in second to adjourn the meeting. Question, are you ready to vote? Those in favor? Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.